The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. Explore how Mike Morrell and Faiyaz Dossaji of Dream Team United have built a thriving real estate business in the Carolinas. Bob Stewart and Chad Hyams discover how consistency, leadership, and leveraging vendor relationships are key to their success, along with insights on maintaining team collaboration and effectively managing dual leadership dynamics. Uncover the strategies that have positioned Dream Team United as a formidable force in the real estate industry. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast presented by Brivity.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Just Do This. And we've got my friends from the Dream Team United, which that's not how I originally knew you guys in the beginning. You guys were small Carolina boys and you've grown up to the big time. But do me a favor, gentlemen. We've got Mike and Faiyaz here. Will you guys, and I don't know how you guys do this. This is the first time we've had more than one person on this thing, Chad. So
very confusing, Bob. Very confusing.
You guys, I'm going to kick it over to you. You guys figure it out, but introduce yourself so people here kind of know who we're checking in with for the next half hour.
All right. Yeah, I'm Mike Morrell. Faiyaz and I teamed up in January of 2018. We both had small individual teams. And January 2018, we started Carolina's Dream Team, as you mentioned. Then when we joined Place, we started to think bigger, think we might go beyond the Carolinas, and change the name to Dream Team United.
Awesome.
Sounds like a soccer club, just so you know. It sounds like a soccer club.
That's exactly what, that was his idea. He's like, man, soccer's growing. He's like, why don't we do that? And
okay.
I liked the idea, so I liked it. My name is Faiyaz. As Mike mentioned, we teamed up in 2018. We have locations here. Our hub is in the greater Charlotte area in the North and South Carolina region. But we have several expansion locations throughout the Carolinas, Triad, Triangle, Wilmington, and even in Greenville, Spartanburg, upstate. So we've got a pretty large, sizable team. All in, we're around 30 some odd people. And we help a lot of people around the Carolinas.
Guys, tell me, so over the last year, this is how we're going to start every one of these. Over the last year, what's something you guys have done specifically that's grown your business? And then we'll go from there. But give me one specific thing that anybody listening today could take out of here.
One specific thing that we've done in the last year is really hone in on our P&L and focus on profitability.
Yeah. I mean, Mike, should we tell everybody like the dirty secret in real estate?
Yeah, let's hear it.
The dirty secret is like we go to these conferences and we go and up on the stage, there's the people that have sold all the houses.
Yeah.
Right. Like you guys, it's 350 or it's 400 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But the dirty secret is some of these teams aren't making very much money. Right. Like they're making fractions, or sometimes Faiyaz and Mike's production is paying the bills back for the team. Right. Yep. So why was a focus on profit kind of what you guys have undertaken in the last year?
Yes. So sorry. So we were like, before we joined Place, Mike and I were right around 10% of the team's production. So, and we were profitable. So we were doing like all the right things from a foundation perspective. And then obviously we had some shifts in the market. 2023, 2024 were some hard years. And one of the things that we noticed was just, and honestly, Place kind of exposed some of this, was that there was this like layer of fat that was probably not being highlighted because business was good in years past. And again, even though we had a pretty strong foundation, we started noticing like, hey, things are just getting a little bit harder, and inefficiencies in the business were being exposed. And so that was one thing that was really important for us, and kind of really digging into the line item. Even though, again, we were disciplined in looking at our P&Ls, we dug in further and like we're really looking at, hey, why do we have some of these redundancies in our business? And do we actually still need some of this stuff, whether it's systems and processes or whether it's layers of organizational structures? Do we need that to still provide great client care and provide a great living for our people?
So two examples of that were, Ben said, take any positions with director in front of them and get rid of those. So we got rid of our director of lead gen. We parted ways with our director of marketing, and we replaced them with Brivity VAs and Brivity marketer. And we haven't seen any fall off in our business. In fact, we've still continued to grow year over year since we started.
Mike, before you say anything else, Bob, do you know what your job title is?
No,
No, I'm just checking that you're not like director of Brivity training or something, because that might be a message coming down the line.
I'm the dash, Chad. My job title's the dash, because Ben says we're all the CEO to the janitor, and so I'm the dash. I'm like everything in between the CEO and the janitor.
All right,
Mike, as you guys, so
let's reintroduce who we got, because we're now live streaming, Bob. So there might be some people who are there.
We have Mike and Faiyaz, who are lead the Dream Team United, kind of based in the Carolinas, but expanding, big business. And you guys have been focused on profitability. And you started by saying and this is one of the biggest expenses on any team of your guys' size for sure is people, right? And you started by kind of analyzing what the people were doing, and you said you replaced them with VAs. Was there, Mike, no fall off at all? Like in terms of what those people were handling, those VAs were able to step into those roles and kind of be on par.
Certainly no fall off in our business. No fall off at all in our business. I'd say that our director of marketing, for example, she was very involved in the local community and doing a great job of just communicating with other businesses. But I don't know that was having any effect on our actual business. Maybe our brand recognition to some degree, but eliminating that position certainly didn't affect our business at all.
Okay, so profit and loss, absolutely, right? You got to have the budget, and then you got to have the profit and loss. Folks, if you're not planning where your money should go and then not stopping to review where your money went, you're missing the boat on growth, success, in anything. I don't care if you're an individual agent who's watching this. I don't care if you're a rainmaker. Heck, I don't care if you're an agent on a team watching this for ideas. That's high level conversation, and I love it. Can we go down one step in the conversation, though? Right? That was the thing when Bob asked, he said, what was the thing that's made the biggest difference? You said P&L and really paying attention to it. Amen. Hallelujah. What about on the production side? You mentioned it's been a tough time in the industry in 23 and 24. Some areas in the country are still feeling it. We do have we are time of year right now. School's just getting ready to get out. So some people are going to think, oh, I'm amazing, because their business is going to pick up this month or two, and it's nothing that has to do with them. What have you guys and your team been doing over there to raise the level of success in the changes that are going on production wise?
Okay. So not sexy. It
never is. It never is.
But back to basics. Just really focusing on trying to get to our model of 50-50. We're providing half of the leads and our agents are providing half of the leads. And just truly looking at those numbers and analyzing it on a weekly basis and making sure everybody's pulling their own weight.
Mike, have you guys had times in your business where, I hate the lazy agents, right? I hate that, because I don't think, you guys have built such a big business. Your agents aren't being lazy, but does there have you guys had a time where that 50-50, right? Them bringing their sphere to your business, them doing open houses, them out prospecting and adding to the database. Has it ever gotten out of balance? Do you guys find times where your agents back off and all of a sudden you guys look up and you're like, man, we're bringing a massive amount? And if it does get out of balance, how do you get your agents engaged to do their side of the work again?
Sure. If you took from that I said we were at 50-50, we're working towards 50-50. It's been in balance since we started the team. But yeah, some of the things that we're doing just to make sure that we're there are like the Brivity scorecard has just become a weekly part of our business that we're doing every day. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, no, I think what it is the change over the last year and a half is that we're just now paying more attention to the basics as Mike talks about. So every week, the Brivity scorecard is something that is distributed to all the agents. We're discussing the finer points of like, hey, where are opportunities where you can pick up some low-hanging fruit, and where are there some opportunities where we need to focus on into more disciplined work over the long run. That is not only something where the agent is seeing that, but also our forward coach is seeing that. And then obviously, whenever we have our conversations with, our Brivity partners, we're also seeing from a holistic standpoint, like, hey, these are some areas of concern and these are some opportunities where more business can come out of it. So like, when you're talking about profitability, we're looking at the production side of that, where we can milk out more production so that you're not spending more to get the same or more business.
Faiyaz, what you guys like to build a business that you guys have built? To me, like one of the common thread under all these big businesses is this idea of consistency. And maybe it's become cliche and, but
cliches are there for a reason, Bob.
yeah. How do you like I think teams look at a team like yours. They look, I remember around here, they used to look at Ben's team in Bellingham, not that they don't anymore, but just, when he was leading it, and they think this guy's got some magic beans or something, right? Like Faiyaz and Mike, they're doing something that we're not capable of doing. But to me, that common thread is consistency. Like you guys show up every day. You show up first off, but you like show up every day. Your team shows up every day. How do you build consistency? Like how do you get it? How do you attain it?
Yeah. So one thing that we did, I'd say again, since we've joined Place was, it's not a top-down type of conversation. It's actually a very collaborative conversation with the team to show that, hey, this is where the direction of the company is. And especially with our veteran agents who've been here, who spent time, who have vested interest in the company's growth and their own business, right? And many of them were here before Place. So they've seen this evolution. So we literally bring them to the table and be like, hey, this is the direction that we're thinking about going. What's your input? What's realistic? What's not realistic in your world? And so when you have that collaborative conversation, it's not like this command from top down coming in. And so they're bought into, hey, we need to lead generate at a higher level. Hey, this is where the cost cutting is potentially going to happen. And this is, Mike and I are going to reinvest that money back into your lead generation so that you can get a bigger business. So again, it becomes a conversation instead of a command.
I think.
Can I go back to the scorecard? I want to ask something. Bob and I on our other podcasts that we do, we've heard a lot lately in culture and in building teams and all that stuff. And one of the things they always were saying, or we've been hearing a lot lately, is stop having competition within the team. Have the team unite to have competition against outside forces, right? So that would be taking the dream team united here and going and beating the team in New York, or going to, instead of, when you have the scorecard, does it become a challenge? Does it become a competition between agents to want to be on top of that scoreboard and in the scorecard? Or is it, hey, we're all helping each other because we want to kick the team across the state line's butt? How are you guys making that happen?
I think that there's probably some competition, just like friendly competition directly between the agents. I want to make sure I'm beating this guy or whatever, but not driven by us. When we get together for our weekly meeting every week, we're celebrating everybody's success, but we're not really doing rankings. We're just pump everybody else up, help each other, and let's see how we can grow together.
But I don't know. You get a team with you guys. You said you have 30 Faiyaz. You guys got some competitors in there, right, Mike? They're gonna find that person that they kind of see themselves equally or similarly yoked with, and they're gonna jockey to compete with them and probably have some fun with it.
It's kind of like I know 2 or 3 right now off the top of my head. It's like sibling rivalry. You love your brother or your sister, but you still kind of want to beat them, and you want to egg them on a little bit when you're beating them, right? it's the same thing here. It's friendly rivalry, which we encourage that, but not in something that will be obviously negative to the culture of the team.
I love that, Faiyaz. I want to go back to like, it's a conversation. It's not this top down, because you could come into your team and say, all right, we're going to be here 5 days a week. Everybody's going to be here at 8:00. But let's just take that example. Power up. Do you guys power up in the morning? Like, is that a concept for you guys?
Every morning.
Was it always?
Yeah.
So it's always been okay. So take me through something. Let's just say power up. Yeah, it's a change. You guys didn't have to do this for power up, but let's just say that you had agents that, weren't necessarily a party to power up, but you kind of wanted them to be. What would that conversation sound like where you're trying to bring somebody that on your team maybe others look towards, but they don't necessarily, let's be honest, they don't need to be at power up every morning, right? They don't need to be the guy making 20 contacts, Mike. They don't need to be the agent out doing 2 open houses, even though you're telling all the other agents in the building that's what they need to do, but they're not that guy or gal, right? They don't have a 12, 15-year business. They don't have past clients calling them up out of the blue. How do you get those people to buy in to kind of being the role models for the rest of the team, if possible?
The easiest way to do that is you have someone who, like a veteran agent on your team, who's bought into this concept, and we have several who are. And it almost becomes, it's not Bill Belichick who's giving the command, it's Tom Brady, the quarterback, who is like, hey, offensive line, wide receiver, I need you to be in the same boat, rowing in the same direction as me, the quarterback. And so when it comes from those veteran agents, it's almost, it is more powerful than when Mike and I do it. And so we've got some agents who are bought in like that. And so when they're on the scripting calls, when they're on the power-ups, when they're on the data dials, when they're at the team meetings, when they're doing all that, and you've got newbie agents and you're like, whoa, this is actually the culture. It's a culture of production. It's a culture of showing up. It's a culture of participation. Like, hey, that's how it's got to be. And if you're not part of that, you're almost being left out. And it feels weird if you're on the outside like that.
Okay, I want to ask Mike about something that Faiyaz just said. You said it's a culture of productivity. And I love that. That was when I was the team leader for Ben's office. That was the culture of the office. And too many people always just say, well, we have a culture, and it's a culture. They never define what the culture is, right? Because you could be a culture of camaraderie. You could be a culture of charity. You could be a culture. You guys have said culture of productivity. So, Mike, how do you two, as 2 separate people, 2 separate leaders, it's a question I want to ask later, because there's mom and dad there. How do they not play mom against dad, right? But how do you guys generate a culture of productivity? Because that's the message everybody needs to walk away from this, understanding how to go do that.
Yeah, I'd say part of it that we've stepped back into within the last year and a half is us being in production, us just leading by example. So I sold about 30 homes last year. Faiyaz sold 20.
17, yeah.
We're just right back in it. So which helps. We went through COVID and it was just chaos and kind of free money, right? But then once things slowed down again, we really needed to jump in there and just show everybody what it takes to be successful in this business. And once we did that, I think we got some people following along.
I was lead by example.
Yeah, I agree with Mike completely. I remember having a conversation with Ben, and we were having some challenges in 2023 and 2024, and he looked at me and he looked at Mike and he's like, you guys have gotten a little too separated from the trenches and the front lines. He's like, are you experiencing what your people are experiencing? And I think we had this level of kind of like middle management that was separating us from our agents. And while I'm in the office like every day, and so is Mike, again, were we really feeling what they were feeling? And so how do we lead by example if we're not really like in the trenches with them? And so that was an eye-opening thing. And I think ever since then, I mean, Mike is selling the same amount of homes that he has been. I'm kind of selling the same, right? So it's not too much more, but it's just like really having our finger on the pulse. I think that is super helpful.
Okay, so it's not like folks, rainmakers out there, you need to go sell 100 homes on your own. That's the purpose of having built an organization like these guys have built with the dream team here. It's putting yourself in a position, though, of still being in the trenches, so they see you there, you know what they're dealing with, and you can, with authenticity, have those conversations and the challenges that are going on.
100%.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can we circle back? I want to go back to the profit and loss and the expense reduction, because Ben has been, just driving on you guys as partners to reduce your expenses, and they had you guys try to reduce them 10%, like towards the end of the year. Now they're asking you to try to reduce them 10% again. What are some of the tax? So we got people. We kind of did a look last year at our people and where we might be able to get more efficient and effective there. What about like in the tools of the business, the things you guys spend dollars on, software or different things, like where there have you guys looked around, maybe not recently, maybe last year, and found bloat, Mike? Where have you found processes where you're like, oh yeah, that was the smart thing to do in 2020, but not now? Like, are there particular things that you guys can call out in there?
Well, just relating the P&L to things like, for example, so Brivity now owns LandVoice, right? So I don't have to pay for Vulcan 7 anymore. And everything is all within the same ecosystem. We don't have to jump around to different places. Now with Remind becoming part of it, so we don't have to keep jumping out of Brivity to go to other places. We don't have to keep paying for other services that are all within the same ecosystem now. So that just keeps growing and
yeah, I'm wondering how many people are using a product and not realizing that product now ties in, so they're paying for things over here that they're already getting over there. It's a great point there.
I'll be honest, like it is also very helpful for myself and Mike to have an operations person who is also just as vested in that line iteming and just taking out some of those redundancies. I mean, we probably found, I remember like people plus other processes, we probably took off $100,000 to $140,000 in expenses in the last year and a half. For example, dot loop, for our team, that's about $7,000 line item on an annualized basis, right? That is going to be a huge savings when we go over to Remind, or even DocuSign is free, like some of those things. For example, are we really looking at even our marketing and our photography and things like that? We are negotiating because of our scale, right? We are a volume-based team so that we are able to negotiate better contracts with our vendor partners. And all you got to do is ask. So for those operators who are out there, are you actually sitting down with your people, like your vendor partners, and saying, hey, listen, I'm giving you this amount of business on an annualized basis. What are you giving me? Even before we were with Place, we have so many of our client events that are sponsored, whether it's our closing attorneys, whether it's our, Envoy Mortgage right now is doing a great job in reinvesting in our business. So again, these are line items that are slowly reducing our cost.
Faiyaz, but maybe if you're not being pressured either from yourself, right, or your partner, in this case Ben, to go look for those savings, you may not go and have that conversation with your photographer and say, oh, by the way, we sent you 150 shoots last year, like, can we get a 10% discount? Like you just accept them. Like if
no, I don't. I do not accept that.
You don't.
That is not the way I am wired. Even before Mike and I joined up, that is not the way I'm wired. Dude, I'm not working this hard to just pay the bills and make zero profit. That is not. This business is too hard for that. So, Mike and I know that Mike knows this, and my team knows this. First of all, a vendor partner, for example, quality of service to the client and to the team is non-negotiable. Right?
Yeah, that's not a benefit. Right. That's par.
Right. Now I can go out there, and we're an attorney state. There's some great closing attorneys out here. I'm going to sit down and set the table for like, hey, these are my expectations. Client care and client service and communication is a non-negotiable. Oh, and by the way, I need you to also sponsor, my team events. And if it's a no from them, I respect that. That's fine. Then I'll take my 340 units somewhere else. That's a big piece of business. So we're using the leverage of our presence in the local real estate market as leverage. I'd be stupid not to.
Are you using that as a value add for your clients?
1,000%.
Like you're making sure they know that, because some of them are saying to bigger organizations, they say, well, you're too big, it's too massive, I don't get the one-on-one attention. You're able to say, okay, and you still shop at Costco to go get that stuff because they're buying it in such bulk. We can bring you these services others can't because
it's actually the opposite. It's actually the opposite.
Okay.
Because we are big, I can pick up the phone right now and I can call my closing attorney. I can call my home inspector. I can call my photographer. I can call any of my vendors on the dime, and I don't have to wait for just 9 to 5 working hours. So my clients actually get better service than they would if they weren't with us.
Okay. So I hinted at this earlier. I want each of you to give me a quick answer on this, because I'm sure there are other teams watching this that are being led by two powerful people, right? And whether that's the director of operations and the rainmaker being too powerful, or whether it's two rainmakers really coming together for a thunderstorm over there. How do you run the team that it doesn't end up mom against dad with the kids playing you in that sense? Do you each have very defined roles? Do you just communicate that well? How do you guys do that?
We've when we partnered up back in 2018, we made an agreement at the time that that if anybody felt strongly about anything, that the other one would likely concede. And if we were butting heads, we agreed to a coin flip, and we put that in the contract, right? So, but it's
down to a coin toss, okay.
And that's never been an issue for us. It's never been something where
No coin tosses in 7 years.
Never happened.
Wow. I mean, maybe that's just you guys picked a great yin and yang for each other, right? Like,
is that it? Does one of you have this? I mean, like Bob and I, when we're doing we have a good, right? He asks these, I ask these guys.
Yeah.
Were you just a good fit, or have you just learned how to adapt to each other?
Yeah, Faiyaz is way more outgoing. He's the one that's going out there and shaking babies and kissing hands and doing all that stuff and building those relationships. Well, either way.
Don't shake babies, Faiyaz. It won't end well.
I'm more of the tech guy. I'm more of the inside guy. So I'd say that's one major difference where we don't really cross paths too much.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew each other's personality to a certain extent, like not doing business. So we have some similarities and synergies together for sure. And honestly, his weaknesses are my strengths and vice versa. So we've really like a yin and yang. And so the team also knows like what to come to me for, what to go to Mike for. And then obviously other people in the business. It is and those people outside of our team who kind of know us, like we've gotten feedback. They're like, you guys are like the perfect partnership. Like the way you jive, it really works well. And some of it is luck, but some of it was also planned because we interviewed with each other and stuff like that.
Can I ask you guys about your director of operations? Because I think she's like supremely talented. Was there something? How did you find her? Because I feel like that position is just like how did you find her?
There's a story the way that happened.
Yeah. So when we first partnered up, Jen was my assistant. I found her through our team leader at the market center. She'd actually come in and interviewed with somebody else. And the team leader said, I don't think you guys are a great fit, but Mike would be a great fit for you. And I hired her at that point back in 2016, I think. Yeah. And then when we joined, she went from my assistant to our director of ops, and she's just incredible. She's driven. She's constantly learning. She's a challenge for us because we have quarterly reviews, and she wants to know what she's bad at, where she can improve, and she's really great. So it makes it tough.
I'm such a big fan of hers. Like she's sometimes individuals like that, like you said, like somebody else was like, whoa, I don't know, I don't think I can handle this. And like you might be scared to make a hire like that, but the hires like Jolene is that for Ben, right? Just they drive you to be better.
That is the word. That's the word. Oh, you just said it, drive. So we've gotten really comfortable with hiring people who are more talented than us. And we have the conversation before we hire them. We're like, hey, are you comfortable being uncomfortable because they're going to push us? And if you want to grow a company, you're going to have to be pushed because not all ideas can come from us. And so we need to be surrounded by that supreme talent. And that's what Jen does. She pushes, but in a good way, right? And so that's kind of like where we're at.
Funny aside, that happened an hour ago. We're supposed to meet to talk about something unrelated, me and Jen and the ISA team. And she was unavailable this afternoon. She said, how about tomorrow morning at 7:30? And I said, how about like during working hours? She's like, those are working hours.
Yeah, 7:30 is a working hour for most of us. Come on now, Mike.
Right.
One last thing. Oscar just asked in the chat box here. He said, you guys said you weren't using .loop anymore. Who have you replaced that with?
DocuSign. Our market center provides DocuSign for free. We're paying for .loop, so we're trying to make that transition right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. We're cutting costs. We're cutting costs wherever we can find them. Mike, Faiyaz, I really appreciate you guys doing this. 30 minutes out of a business that does, is going to do 400 transactions this year is super valuable. So the fact that you guys gave it to us, we couldn't thank you enough. Folks, go out there, look for costs in your business, and then go find yourself a Jen. I promise you, if you find a Jen, things will change in your world. You guys, we appreciate you guys. Dream Team United, we're taking over the world. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.